Good morning all and welcome to the lecture. So in this class we will discuss about public choice theory. So in the previous classes we discussed various other theories and models, and also in the A-level part in the as part of various approaches we covered many other theories. So I think uh, with the discussion of this theory, this public choice theory, we will cover almost all theories, and it's that is enough for your uh, for this part. Okay, so this is the last theory of this uh, uh, part, and so we can discuss the public choice theory in detail. Public choice theory, also named as rational choice theory or political economic theory, and don't be confused with rational policy making approach. It is rational choice theory based on choice. Okay, so this theory assumes that all political actors, be bureaucrats, politicians, or voters, pursue their self-interest or seek to maximize their personal benefits in both politics and their marketplace. As in the marketplace, where the people go to the market and they will bargain and for the maximum benefit. So everyone uh, mutually related to each other for their own self interest or self benefit. So that is actually happening in the market. As the same case is, we can see in the, we can feel in the politics, because the bureaucrats, politicians, the decision makers, the all participants of the decision making system are acting for their own benefit. So, uh, so that's why James Buchanan, a leading scholar of this field, argues that individuals come together in politics for their own mutual benefit, just as they come together in the marketplace, and by agreement among themselves, they can enhance their own well-being in the same way as by trading in the marketplace. So the public choice approach, uh, the main focus of this approach uh, is here. That is, everyone act or participate in the political decision-making process for their own benefit. So, the public choice approach, which gained increasing popularity in the 1970s and 1980s, has its base in the rational choice theory. So, it is oriented towards the understanding of the remain realm of public choice, that is, politics and bureaucracy. So here you can also see a definition by Mueller. So uh, it is concluded as a public choice can be considered as a uh, interference or the application of economics in political science or the political system. Okay, Gordon Tullock, Anthony Downs, and William Niskanen are the exponents of public choice theory. So they argue that, like private entrepreneurs, politicians in their supply of public policy are guided by private concern to the same extent as the private profit maximizer. So, as the case of private enterprises, they always tries to maximize their own benefit. So the same case is here. The politicians, their main objective is to get the maximum benefit from their decisions. So when the government take decisions, uh, it is it's depends upon the people's expectation. So every time people expect more from the government. Okay, so the decision makers, when they make the policies, they tries to reduce or the minimize the distance between citizens' expectation and the decisions taken by the government. Okay, so from this gap, they will take the benefit. Okay, so when people expect something very different or something very drastic change or enormous support from the government, they will uh, demand, or they will expect something very special from the government. So the decision makers, they are the, actually they are the authoritative agency of that government. So they can give the adequate policy or the preferable policy to the public. So through the policies they can relate with the with the people. So when the decision makers take decisions, they tries to reduce the gap between the expectation of people and the policies from the government, and they and through this they will uh, get they will tries to they will try to get benefited uh, from the policy making. Okay, for example, government decided to uh, open more uh, bar to the, that means liquor shops, to the uh, public. So the the interested people, when the policy is in the making process, the interested people will get uh, will expect very enormous uh, policy, very uh, favorable decision from the government. So by giving more private companies, private uh, hotels to open liquor shops, uh, government is also doing the same job. They can uh, they can be with the expectations of the people. So while giving this uh, opening of more bars or hotels, the decision makers, the politicians, will get some benefits from the private firms, bar owners. So that is the benefit from the bar owners to the politicians. At the same time, they will get a kind of support from the people who are interested in this decision. Okay, so that is a case here. So every time the decision makers tries to minimize policy distance between citizens' expectation and those supplied by the government. Okay, so here Downs also gives an example, some examples here. Downs model recognize competition between government and opposition, in which opposition reminds the citizens or voters about the size of the policy distance. So if the government is not ready to act, or not their policies or their decisions are not in favorable to the public, the opposition party will use the time for their own benefit. So they will react. They will make the people to act against the government decision through demonstrations, strikes, etc. So that is the way by the opposition parties, so they can be benefited from the scene. So that is actually so here the intent of politician is to maximize the likelihood of winning elections. So take the case of some examples. So in during the election time, the very best days before the election time, that means before the announcement, before the notification of election, government can act uh, freely without any uh, regulation by the election commission. So and before the election, so government can expect after 6 months the election will come. So the government will act enormously. They will give more uh, jobs, more employment opportunities, more lavish policies, and more projects they will. So that kind of a action, that kind of a policy, that kind of a decision, operation is taken by the government is mainly for to get the benefit from the people during the from the election, so they can be elected one more time. So that is the benefit they expect from the people by giving this uh, lavish policies. So that is also another example. So here they give some um, examples and instances to understand the issue, or the or to uh, enhance their theory. Okay. Downs, in his book Inside Bureaucracy, assumes that decision making in bureaucracy is informed by the pursuit of self interest. Downs argues that the motivations of individual officials are diverse, such as power, money, income, prestige, personality, loyalty, security, etc. So, the bureaucrats have several interests. Uh, Here, Downs argues that certain motivations are actually leading every bureaucrat. So that may be income, maybe prestige, or maybe personality or loyalty. So he also categorized the bureaucrats into five that are climbers. That means who concerned with their power, income, and prestige. And another type is conservers. They're concerned with minimizing change. So they uh, demands the status quo. And third one, zealots. That means highly motivated officials committed to push for a policy or program, and advocates who see their interest in terms of maximizing the role and resources of their bureau. Bureau means the department. And statesmen who have a sense of public interest, which may be advanced by increasing their power so as to realize their goals. Okay. Downs claims as there are different kinds of bureaucrats. There are also different kinds of bureaus. That means departments. So William Nicanen, in his books Bureaucracy and Representative Government, also argues that those who work in bureaucracies or bureaus seek to maximize their budget and size of the bureau. So here, bureau means the department. So the persons in the department, the officials in the department, that means the bureaucrats, not only the bureaucrats, the department as a whole uh, work for the um, for the aim for to satisfy their own interests, so they are on to maximize their self-interest. So here maybe the extension of the department, or maybe the expansion of the department, or the more budget for the expansion of the department, maybe the uh, reason of that bureaucrats. Not totally connected with the bureaucracy, but I can I, I can give you an example of uh, um, education sector. So what is in the education sector? Every time the education sector, the universities and all, take the case of one university. Every time the university is expecting more uh, benefits from the government. So the university's main intention is to expand the space of the university, the maximum scope of the university. So they will uh, expect, they will uh, ask, or they will demand for the expansion of their uh, um, office as a whole. So that may be the main uh, aim or intention of that particular bureau. That means the department. So every time every department is trying to expand their own space by using the benefits that is coming from the government. So that is the, so like bureaucrats, the departments as a whole work to maximize self-interest. Gordon Tulloch's is considered to be amongst the earliest contribution to the public choice approach. For him, the study of politics, policy planning, and bureaucracy should be based on the same assumptions which might be used to explain the behavior of firms, business people, and consumers. From this could emerge the following set of generalization. First one, political parties contesting elections make excessive promises to get votes. Politicians in power maximize the likelihood of winning election through manipulating the economy. So um, they will give some offers more employment opportunities. Um, um, they will expand the uh, employment opportunities, and as a tactic of their election. And the power of bureaucracy has increased by serving itself rather than the public interest. The political process of liberal democracy are falling, are failing to supervise and control the growth of political and bureaucratic power. So these conclusions have led to the introduction of market. So to control the this kind of practices in the bureaucracy, Tullock, in common with other advocates of public choice theory, recommended the introduction of competition into bureaucracy through contracting out, privatization, and increasing competition between government departments by rewarding performance. So that kind of that is actually about the public choice theory. Okay. So criticism and conclusion of public choice theory. The main weakness of these models lies in the lack of empirical test and also evidence is mixed. The view that bureaucratic decision making is prompted by the pursuit of self-interest, which can only find expression in increased budgets and bigger bureaus, need empirical support. Moreover, we know little about the personal utility who work in bureau, in contrast to those who work in profit maximizing firms. The size of bureau was also questioned. The experience of 1990s in many developed and developing countries, that means the introduction of liberalization, privatization, and globalization. How that of reduction in the number of civil service and the introduction of markets to carry out those activities earlier assumed to be in the domain of bureaucracy. In a developing country like India, a large number of social functions are still performed by non-market oriented organizations. It is often argued that the public choice approach scores low on objectivity as it is oriented towards market values. It is also critical of the state and social welfare spending simply because it favors market forces for ideologically right-wing reasons. This criticism is a serious one in the context of developing economies which have adopted development path as a policy instrument for the promotion of social and economic development. Okay, these are the major criticism against the public choice theory. Okay, thank you.